another episode of Sleeping Giants Red Star Belgrade. Now, we're back. It's a brand new season and I'm feeling fresh about this. And my God, like, to quote Barry Davis, what a contrast to the previous transfer window. We had a terrible time. I would do it in his voice, but I really am not going to embarrass myself by attempting to do an impression of the great man Barry Davis. Now, last year we had some difficulties in the transfer window. We weren't able to get that many good players in, and I was starting to worry that it might have just been because as our team was getting better, the players were looking worse than they were, but I really don't think that was the case. I mean, okay, maybe a little bit, but I think we just had there was just a poor crop and our scouts just weren't able to find anything. And like I said, before, it wouldn't be a fun game. Well, I say it wouldn't be fun. If you're finding that amazing players every single summer, it wouldn't be that realistic either. But this year, I think there's been, after a year off, we seem to have got all our Christmases coming at once. So that is a very, very good thing. Now, the other thing I want to talk about, obviously this won't really apply for this episode because this is a transfer window episode and therefore there has been no games of which to speak about. But basically, I'm going to try out a new episode format, and it's going to follow as like this. And I know not everyone will agree, but then not everyone agreed with the way I did it before. And this is essentially how I used to do it. It's just that when I got the new computer, I was so sort of enthralled with the ability to do 3D highlights that I realized that actually it was taking up a very long time in episodes that were just not particularly useful. Like when we're winning 9-0 a lot, it meant that there was a lot of time that was being taken up by me showing highlights with not a lot to say over the top. And I'd prefer to be able to just, if anything amazing happens, like an amazing goal or an amazing incident, to be able to show you that in 3D, or something dodgy happens or something funny, then obviously I will show you that in 3D, and I will still go through all the stats of the games and I'll tell you a little bit about what happened. But that's what I'm going to try and do in future, to try and keep the episodes down just a little bit more. Obviously, double live com episodes will still exist. I appreciated the suggestions from people. That's kind of where it came to. I had some suggestions about doing double live coms in every episode, but you don't really understand that would double the workload, because I'd basically have to do 2 episodes as 1 episode if we're doing double live comms, because not all the games don't always fall that close together. And I'm quite happy to do that every now and then when we're in the knockout stages, because you want to do both legs. But if I did that every episode, it would double the workload even more, and I already put a ridiculous amount of time into these videos. So I'm just trying to make them as best I can, but also most watchable that they can be, which is understandable, because obviously you want your videos to be seen by people and for people to enjoy them. Right. That's enough of that. That's enough admin for this one. This episode might be a little bit longer just because we've got to talk about transfers and stuff like that. So, I hope you understand that if you are one of those people that struggles to watch the longer ones. Now, first thing, we had a chance this summer to try out that agent fee thing, and I figured I would give it a go because I found a player and I really wanted him, but his agent was not budging on the agent fees, and obviously the deal fell through. But before I get into that, actually, obviously Jovic has had to leave now, which is a massive shame and something I would have much rather avoided, but nothing we could do. Now, when he left, I got a news article from, Milutin Militic would like to talk to you about why you let Jovic at the club. And I was like, okay, fine, we'll talk to him. What I don't like, and what really needs to change, is there needs to be an option. Like, there was 4 options, basically. It was all along the lines of, so sorry guys, my voice is going a little bit funny. All along the lines of, he wants too much money, we've got younger players, I don't want to pay him, he just wasn't good enough, all of that kind of crap. Why is there not an option that says he refused to sign a new contract? That is the reason he's not here. So why is that not available as an option? I don't get that personally. That should be a quite obvious option. Oh, sorry about that, guys. I just had to stop because my voice was going all funny and try to clear my throat out a little bit. Yeah. So I don't understand why there isn't an option to basically say he didn't want to sign a new contract and that's why he's left. It's not my fault. But yeah, it was all like, oh, I won't offer him enough money, or he wanted too much money, but he didn't. He just didn't want to sign a new contract. That really does need to be put in there. But yeah, enough about that. Let's talk about what we're really here for, and that is transfers. Oh my days. I'm happy with the transfers personally. Like, for me, they've been solid. Right, actually, what we're talking about, yeah, we haven't got any future transfers. It's all current, which is lovely as well. We've had some players go out as well, so we'll talk about that first, actually. So, obviously, his players are left on freeze. Benyak has gone. Kovacevic has gone. That wasn't my choice, though. And obviously, Jovic has gone. And Pesic has gone. Some loans have gone out. Sheridan Djordjevic has gone out to Cluj for 180,000. Wesley, our Brazilian, who I was never really rating that highly, has gone out to Lech Poznan for 175,000. You'll notice that Halam Falag has gone to Watford for 2.6 million. He, for me, was never going to be quite good enough to ever break into our first team. And Watford offered us 2.6 million with rising to 4.2. And I was like, yeah, we'll take that, thanks. And I consequently bit their hand off. We also got rid of Vladan Radosavljevic to Eindracht Alast, or Alst, I believe probably a German team, I can't remember, and possibly Dutch, for £250,000. Darko Lazic has actually gone out on loan to Hoffenheim. I feel like he's probably about as good as a couple of other backup centre-backs now, and I'd rather give them the game time because they're going to get better, whereas he's going to decline. Dejan Ivkovic has joined FK Rad for 425. Now, I should point out, FK Rad are loaded now. They got a tycoon takeover, and I'm pretty certain that they've got a bigger transfer budget than we do. It feels like they do anyway. So I expect FK Rad to suddenly start challenging in the league over the next couple of seasons. Maybe not initially, but I think give it a couple of seasons and they'll probably be our biggest competitors for this league, which is going to be making it a little bit more interesting, I must say. Jalminia's gone out to Mönchengladbach as well. I wasn't quite sure about that, and unfortunately a player got injured right after he'd gone out on loan, which is a pain. And obviously you can see some other loans going out there like Apoko, Souza, Obando, Milovan Tufecic and such. Now, let's get into what you really want to see. Now, you already know about Jiri Huslet. He came in not last year, but he's one of the ones that we just weren't particularly sure about last year, and I can sort of see why, really. So he's not really that important, and it wasn't a huge outlay. Now, it's these guys that I'm quite pleased about. Not all of them, but most of them, for me, I reckon are going to be great at some point. Now, this is Romeo Smith. Now, okay, admittedly, he doesn't look super good at the moment, but he is a central defender. He's decent. You know, he's only 16 years old, remember. He's not awful. And I personally think that he's better than this is letting on. Like, his individual stat. Like, you actually have to pay attention to his stats here. Like, rather than these stars. The stars can lie sometimes for me, like, as with Bolongo or my Pompey said. They just really do lie sometimes. And I don't think he's that bad. Now, obviously, when we put the bid in for him, it came back, it was fine, but then we came to getting his transfer done, and obviously his agent wanted £180,000 for a youngster, whereas our max that we can offer for someone with a youngster squad role is like 48,000, I think. So as you can see, nowhere near that. So I tried it out, and basically I'm going to explain it right now in case you guys aren't familiar with the article or didn't go read the striker listing I was talking about. Basically what you do is you find out who his agent is, and in his case it was, I believe, a Saudi man, or he might have been from no, I think he was Saudi. You find out other players he's currently got on his books. Now, I went after the 4 most expensive valued players that he has, and because we had the transfer budget, technically, it didn't make any difference, right? So they were like 4 or 5 million each. So we put in bids, agreed contracts with the players. That then, because he's getting huge agent fees, or he thinks he's getting huge agent fees, he then goes from being unfriendly to friendly. So then you go back in for the original player, which is Romeo Smith here, and then you rebid for it. This time, we managed to get him with the 48th. So he dropped his agent fee by £150,000 because of that. And then you just simply cancel the other transfers once the deal has been done for him, and you've got your man. And that's how we got him, guys. So that is the workaround for transfer fees, essentially. I wouldn't call it an exploit because it's obviously a feature of the game that's in there deliberately. So there you go. That's the best way of, if you're struggling with agent fees, that's the best way of getting the agent fees down. So yeah, feel free to try that out and let me know how it goes for you. So we brought him in. He's not my favourite, but like he's still, I think for me, defenders are an area that we've got plenty of, and I just wanted to keep bringing them through because if nothing else, with Halam Falag, I don't know how much we bought him for, but it certainly wasn't 4.2 million. So we're going to make profit on these players if nothing else. And obviously that's not the entire deal we're trying to do here, but you see what I mean. Next up is a young Serb. This is Zoran Djurdjevic. And again, it's a similar kind of deal, but he is a left-sided player, and it's just nice to have some more support in those areas. And he is only 16 and still got a fair amount of time to improve. Some decent stats already. Okay, some areas are a little bit low, like his jumping reach is actually 1, I've just noticed, which is absolutely shocking. He's very, very short, though, like incredibly short. So perhaps not the best. But for me, there's still plenty of potential in the tank for a lad like him. Next up, right, I said to you guys, we need a goalkeeper, right? I said it, and I thought to myself, and I went out and I had a look and tried to find a young keeper, and no one I could find really looked that good. So I thought, right, let's go a little bit older. Let's not look for players that are coming through the last couple of years. Let's just go out and see who we can find on the market, the best goalkeeper that will actually sign for us. And this is the man we got. This is Brian Arguello, or Arguello. He's an Argentine goalkeeper, and look at his stats. I am really, really happy to have him on board. He's only 24 years old. He's cost us £4.4 million, but I don't really care. Like, for me, he is easily the best goalkeeper in this division by an absolute mile. He's a very, very solid goalkeeper for me. And now, if he makes mistakes, I don't want to hear, you need to sign a new goalkeeper, because fact is, we've got a fucking great goalkeeper now, and if he keeps making mistakes, that's just because goalkeepers aren't working on this game. Still, as I proved with Neuer or a couple of episodes ago, but now we've got a decent one anyway, so you never know. If they do work, maybe this will make a difference for us. And so hopefully, and this was a big outlay for us because he's not a sort of young player to bring through. He's a 24-year-old. But thing is, though, I found two goalkeepers actually that I was looking at. One was a German guy and one was him. Now, their stats were, well, they both had the same sort of current and potential ability generally. I think Brian was like, well, he was obviously 2.5 stars. I think the other guy was 3 stars, but they had the same potential abilities. And the stats looked pretty much similar. I think that some of the mentals on the German guy were a tiny bit better, but not by much. And so the difference between them is, firstly, Brian Aguero we managed to get for 4.4 million. The German team wanted 90 million for their goalkeeper. Well, bullshit. He's not 86 million pounds better off. Let's just put it that way. So we went for Brian, and he's now joined us, making him our second Argentine at the club, I believe. So that's nice. He and Bazanvira, he's got a friend now. So he's the one I'm really pleased about. Yeah, he's our biggest sort of transfer outlay, but for me, it was definitely worth it. Now, back to domestic stuff. This is Marko Perisic. And again, I'm liking him a lot. Firstly, he can play in all of those front 4 positions, and again, still only 16 and is Serbian, so we're sort of, in a way, we're actually hoarding a lot of Serbian talent, which is good. And again, I just think he's got potential to be decent, frankly, and that's all I'm really interested in at the moment. Now, don't worry if you're thinking, well, these guys are okay, but where's the real quality? Well, that's where we're going next. Not immediately, actually. This is Dragutin Bukovic, and as you can see, this guy is a little bit better than that. 16 years old still, but he can play out in the wing, in the centre, also in the middle there too, and he has, for me, a bit more potential that we can sort of work with. He's a Croat, and I really, really like this guy. I think, again, a lot of potential. We're just bringing in these players. They'll either be massively successful with us, or we sell them on for huge profit. It's a win-win situation. And what I've been looking at, like some of these players that I brought in a couple of years ago that I wasn't too sure about, there's an Israeli guy, there's a couple like Martin Scala, these players that just aren't quite good enough yet and maybe could be. But the point is, we're getting bids on them from like Real Madrid, Man United, and that's making me think that actually they are very good and we really should be hanging on to these guys, and that's important. So don't, jump to conclusions on these lads. Obviously, he did cost us 2.5 million, but I still feel that there's plenty to be gained for him. There's no stupidly large transfers, which is important. Next up is Matthias Poulsen. He's a Danish sort of defensive midfield type of player. He's gone out on loan again. Who did he go on loan to? He's gone out on loan to Radnicki. And I just, again, decent enough potential. He's 18 years old though, so he's a bit older, which is perhaps not quite as good, but he's not too bad for me. But the main ones, right, this is the one I'm most excited about. This is Eniko Casado. Wow. I couldn't believe this guy. This is, I mean, I know it's another central defender, but the fact is, it just means that when he's ready, we can sell one of our other central defenders for like 20-30 million pounds and then have that to reinvest in the club, basically, because we're never going to need like 7 central defenders. But if we've got the quality, like he's 16 years old, already has 15 tackling, 13 heading, natural fitness is decent, he's nice and tall, he's got half decent jumping reach, he's very determined. I am a fan of this guy, and that potential that he's been scouted with, I am very happy. He's out injured at the moment, but which I think might have helped a little bit with the transfer, because he was injured, but I thought, no, there's a reason this lad's, he's a good player. Maybe he's a little injury prone, I don't know, but my scout report didn't seem to reckon so. The great thing about him, particularly, is the fact that 2.9 million for that, and bear in mind, from a Spanish side, that's the sort of thing you'd expect them to want, like 30 million. I don't know why, but he had a 2.9 million pound release clause, and we were able to activate it without any clubs coming in and get away with him. So I'm really pleased with Eniko Casado, and I think we expect him to be, within 2 or 3 years, to be probably one of our back 4, I would feel. And don't forget, we've got lots of players coming back from on loan. We've got people like Ashraf, who I'm going to give a trial today. And this is our last player. This is Goran Kramberger. And again, he's perhaps not quite as good, but still will boost the numbers in the youth team, as we've got a lot of players, as you well know. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the signings in general, really. We really are struggling for... I say struggling for strikers. I did have a look to see if there was a sort of a slightly older striker that we could use to replace Jovic, but they're obviously much more expensive, so it's a little bit more difficult on that particular front. Right, let's get into the match preview. It's obviously the Super Cup today, but it gives us a chance to try out some of these new players potentially. Let's just see. Right, Ashraf. Right, I'm actually going to put Ashraf on. Okay, I'm actually going to start Ashraf for this one, because I think that this could be a breakout season for him. At the back there, Kone, Bazanvira, Adamenko, Arguello, of course, in goal, Ashraf, Ristic, Fedzic, Savicevic, Toshka, Militic, and Sidibe. The bench is fairly strong as well. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. I'll make some little changes to... I'll bring some players up into the first team fold as well to make sure that we've got a decent sized squad basically. But I think it's starting to look a little bit better now, if I do say so myself. So let's get into this game and hope that Amir Ashraf has a good game for us basically. You might also notice in a second anyway that I have a new assistant. Basically I just felt like it was the right time to move on Dragon, and we now have Dejan Stankovic. Yes. Because, let's face it, he's got decent tactical knowledge, better than Dragan if I recall, and he can judge potential like a biznich. I just said the word biznich. And, yeah, plus he's a Serbian legend, so I felt that it was good bringing him in. I think he used to play for Red Star. If I remember correctly, he did used to play for us. Let me just check. Can we even check that? Yes, he did. Okay, there we go, guys. So that's important to notice there. He did used to play for Red Star as well, so good to bring in a club legend like that. So enjoy having him at the club. Plus, he's just a better assistant than Dragan was, and that's something I'm looking into. We've also got some a new director of football, a new head of youth recruitment, which could, head of youth development, which might make the difference when bringing through some of those youth players. Right then, let's do this. I'm looking for a solid performance out of Ashraf today. It's his first full start for us, I think. Obviously, he started in that friendly against Portsmouth, not started, he played. But I think that he could have a breakout season this year if he plays well enough. So Militic and Toshka are going to be the front line, but we've got plenty of other players in and around those areas. Militic has plenty of players streaming forward. Sidibe, of course, is one of them. Oh, over the crossbar from Sidibe. That was a bit of a poor effort. Let me just make sure I've got all the highlights set up properly. Yep. I'm just hoping that Arguello can be a little bit more of a calming influence at the back there, and maybe some of our younger goalkeepers would have made horrible errors, but I'm hoping this year, with a slightly more experienced man at the helm at the back, we might be a little bit more solid, and it might just give us the edge in some of the European games, particularly away from home, where a little bit more experience and quality could make all the difference in those games. Milanovic is through here, and a good save. So yeah, I'm overall happy with the signings. Most of them aren't going to be coming into our first team anytime soon, but I still feel that we're providing plenty of options for the future, and that's kind of what we're doing with this save, isn't it, really? Ristic with the free kick. Ball in, cleared away, and dropped down, and thankfully one at the back there. Still got the likes of Adamenko and Bazan Vera. They're all committed to the club, which is nice. Around the corner for Militic, and it's missed by Militic. That's surprising. That really is surprising. Obviously this is pretty much a glorified friendly, which we will almost certainly win, but nonetheless it's important to be able to test out players like Ashraf, because he's going to be playing this year. Antic will get injured at some point. Sidibe's gone all the way through there, and another good strike. I love playing him out on that right hand side. Like, as good as he's been as a striker for us, on that right he could be absolutely lethal. You might notice that Gajic is out injured at the moment, which is a shame, but it's useful to have someone like Sidibe to come in, I have to say. We're just looking like a better and better team as the years go on, basically. Particularly people like Yildirim. He's improved massively over the summer. Like, he's now rated as like 3.5-star player. Genuinely. I'll have to show you him at some point. I think he's got a slight knock at the moment. But yeah, he's genuinely rated as a 3.5-star player, just as if by magic over the summer, which is really strange. Do you ever get that, where over the summer a player's not potential, but their like their current level just goes flying? Or it might have just been that my last assistant just really underrated the lad, basically, which is why I'm hoping that this year, with Stankovic as my assistant, we'll have a little bit more sensible suggestions. Are we seriously on key highlights here? It doesn't feel like key highlights. Apparently it is key highlights. Savicevic at the back post. Can he shoot? Ducks inside. Good strike. Toshka on the rebound. Oh, Sidibe on the second rebound, and it is 1-0 Red Star. Mamadou Sidibe scores our first goal of the season, and I'm not entirely surprised. I think he'll get plenty for us this year. Even playing out on that right-hand side, genuinely think he's going to be just glorious. His stars or whatever aren't particularly great, but I just feel there's something special about the lad when he plays. Can't be faulted. 2 wonderful saves, actually, I should say. Goalkeeper's done well to make the 2 saves, but there's nothing he can do about that third one, and Sidibe's making it 1-0 to Red Star, which is perfect. We've actually got Indjija in our first league game of the season as well. Just want to see how Ashraf does today. I feel like he has the potential to be the essentially Adamenko just on the on the left-hand side, and that would be glorious. Because if we had, essentially a back four that is just world class, well, we've got one of them in the World Team of the Year, and I think Adamenko's just brilliant. He's got some insane stats. Ristic, Savicevic. Can he slip it through for someone? Toshka, oh, what a strike there off the post, and it's Savicevic on the rebound to make it 2-0. That's 2 rebounded goals we've scored in this game, and Savicevic, as he often will do, scores in his first match of the season. I think Toshka got the assist for this one, though, which is important. I don't know how well he's going to do this year as a sort of as a lone, not as a lone striker, but as our sort of main focal point of the attack. But as you can see, both of our inside forwards have got the goals for us today, which may be hinting at where this season's going to be going, or where the top scorer for us will be this year. Who do you think? Yeah, actually, good question for you guys. Who do you think will be our top scorer this season? We know without Jovic around, who do you think will be the leading goal scorer for us? Tufedzic has now scored and made it 3-0. So no strikers on the board today. Who do you think will be the top scorer? Do you think it'll be someone like Savicevic, Sidibe, or do you think someone like Toshka or Militic will step into the fold, or someone completely different that isn't featuring in this match? Gajic, perhaps. Any ideas? Drop them in the comments. I'll be kind of curious to see what you guys think about that. I really think Ashraf is going to be amazing. There's something about him. I just think he's got... Oh, Sidibe again off the crossbar. Very nearly had himself a second goal. And this game has gone from being quite a sort of poor one initially to us. We've created 6 clear-cut chances. We're looking absolutely unstoppable here. Adamenko whips it in, cleared away. Down to Ashraf, of all people, flicks it over the top. And it's... Oh, my God, it's a penalty as well. This has been a dominating first-half performance from us. Our pre-season has clearly been perfect. Obviously, we've got Champions League soon, and in the next episode, we'll have the draw in our first game. Toshka to score his first goal of the season, and there we go. 4-0, and Florentin Toshka gets on the score sheet. We're going to need big things out of him this year, that is for sure. And personally, I think he's got enough quality to deliver 7 clear-cut chances in the first 36 minutes. Do you reckon we could hit 10 today? Not 10 goals, 10 clear-cut chances. I don't think we'll get 10 goals. I do think we will at some point, but not today. Although, I'm tempted to go attacking. Nah, actually we won't. We'll just try to be as solid as possible, you know. Keep the clean sheet, just play some good football, and get things done, basically. That's the main thing we're going to try and do today. No silliness, just try and be as solid as a rock, and keep that kind of defensive solidity that we're going to need in Europe. Sidibe, Militic, back out to Adamenko, who's, despite his not particularly brilliant crossing stand, Toshka's now got 2 in a row. It's 5-0 Red Star in the first half, 2 for Toshka. That is a good sign. If he can become prolific for us, that would be quite incredible, considering how long it took him to get his first goal. But what about this for a ball in from Adamenko? His crossing stat isn't even that good, and what a header that is from Toshka, just rising like a cliche and smashing that in the top corner. 5-0 at half time. Oh, surely not another one. Militic, edge of the area. Will he shoot, or will he just pass it out to Sidibe to duck back inside? Back across there. Toshka knocks it down, and it's put over the line in the end, I think, by Kone for 6-0 Red Star. And this seems to be what happens for us in cup fight. Look at that, 9 clear-cut chances to 1 in that first half. What I would also say is that I think over the summer, again, you know, our players are going to just, because they're so young and they're all sort of on the up, it kind of means that we don't even have to make signings sometimes, and the team just goes up a notch, if that makes sense. Because, you know, the players are getting better, which means that they're all getting better together because they're all so young generally, and that's proven to be brilliant for us in the past. And it means sometimes that you just think, well, how have we got so much better without making any signings? Well, that is probably why. And judging by the first half performance here, should we go, yeah, let's go, not overload, let's go attacking, see if we can get 10 today. That'd be quite impressive, 10 in a cup final, albeit the Super Cup final, but you know, from the way we're playing at the moment, you wouldn't put it past us. I'd like to see Toshka score a hat-trick or something. It's just good for confidence for these players, you know. We'll bring in a couple of the subs in a minute and try and get some extra players, some goals. And Savicevic at the back post this time, but it is offside. Stefanovic very nearly didn't hang on to that either. I think we'll probably get 40-odd shots in this game, though, I have to say. Savicevic, Ristic, Militic. Oh, is there a little space for Toshka? That's not a good ball, but Savicevic has done well. If you can look over to the right, which they almost certainly will do now. Oh, no, going left to Ashraf. Ashraf, look at that. When he gets the ball at his feet, he looks even more dynamic, possibly, than Adamenko on the other wing. That is crazy. When he gets that ball in a little bit of space, I think we could have 2 of the most incredible sort of wing-back style players that we could possibly ask for. And then with 2 incredibly solid defenders to go with them. Toshka, is there a little all into the channel? No. Ristic, Militic, now Adamenko surely moving forward. Goes to Ashraf instead. Can he find a cross? You know it. Toshka, and it's 3-0, not 3-0, 7-0. Florentin Toshka with a hat-trick on the first game of the season, and that is nice to see. The assist this time comes from Ashraf, and that is also nice to see, that you can put a cross in. He really did well to pick him out here. Nice ball in. Toshka with a big header. Keeper absolutely should have done better with that. That is a terrible attempt at saving it. We've been superb. I can't really fold it. 7-0 is crazy. And then also not so crazy at the same time. Right, changes. Kone is looking absolutely cream crackered, but we don't really have any defensive, no centre-backs really available. What I am going to try now, actually, is to bring on Ephraim Maman, who is the Israeli lad I was telling you about. We're going to run for Militic, though, because, yeah, Militic hasn't played quite as well. And the other changes will make... God, everyone's played so damn well. I really want to bring someone off at Kone here, actually. But yeah, no, we really should have put a centre back on the bench. Okay, no, we'll stick Kone. We'll leave him out there for now. I'm going to bring on China, I think, for Milo Ristic. And we'll make one more change, but I just want to see what Maman can do. Like, Real Madrid want him, and I don't know quite why, because I don't really see that much in him just yet. Bazan Vera, 8-0. Big header from the big man, and that is 8-0 to Red Star in the final. Our biggest ever win in this save is 9-0, and we've still got 22 minutes left. And what a header that is from Bazan Vera. I think he got like 8 goals for us last season, and then he's got one in the first match of the season, so if that says anything, then oh my god, we're continuing. Savicevic, it's Bazan Vera again! 9-0, and Bazan Vera's got 2. Jesus Christ. I think we're going to win the league this year, which I guess we kind of would have thought anyway, but if we play like this all season, what is the goalkeeper doing? That's terrible. I would be ashamed if that was my keeper. Oh wow, hang on a minute, guys. There's still 15 minutes and we've got another highlight. Sadibi. Oh, we're surely not going to get 10 against them in the cup final. Brought down Maman, and it's 10-0. Red Star 10, FK Indjija 0, and Ephraim Maman has made it 10-0. The goalkeeper for Indjija tonight has been absolutely terrible. Good finish from Maman, though, and it's nice to see him score his first goal for the club, too. Oh, my God, not another highlight. They have... Oh, dear. Oh, don't let them score. Well, that's discreet. What is that? I hate that. Like, that's the first shot they've had in the entire game. Bad defending, bad goalkeeping. Like, okay, how did he miss that as well? He's like 6'6", but brand new goalkeeper. And well done. I know I shouldn't be complaining about it, but you know what I mean. Sorry this episode's gone on for a little while, guys. I wasn't expecting to have quite so many goals in it, if I'm honest. Savicevic, Kone now. And, oh my god, the goalkeeper is awful. Their goalkeeper is worse than ours. And that is saying... Well, it's not saying something because, you know... But we have created the 10 clear-cut chances I was after. I just wasn't expecting us to score 10 goals in the process, I have to say. But if that's anything to go by this season, although hopefully the goalkeeping there is not something to go by. Ashraf picks it up and he's going to have a little run at people, no doubt. Can he drop it inside? Or will he just have a little run himself? Oh, Savicevic knocks it back to the edge of the area for China. Long shot, perhaps. Goes through one. Inside to Toshka. Blocked. Oh, thought Toshka was after a 4th goal then. Selfish bastard. Kone going into a couple of big tackles quite hard there, but he's got away with it. Bazan Vera, Tufedzic. Kone. Oh, that's a poor touch as well. Right, we'll make the last sub now. I'm going to bring on Antic for Ashraf, just because he isn't looking super fit at the moment. I'm surprised we've not had more shots, actually. I mean, we probably will still top out at about 40, but I suppose it's not because I haven't put it on shoot on sight or anything, have I? I've just sort of kept it on control. Oh, we're on attacking, but we've not... Oh, we're 41 shots in this game, 10 goals. 10-1 in a cup final is mental. But also, great to see Florentin Toshka playing as well as he did. Nice to see Maman score a goal having come off the bench. What a performance. Savicevic with 3 assists and a goal, but Toshka with 2 assists and 3 goals in this match. And Bazan Vera got a brace. What more do you want, guys? That's quite an incredible result in a cup final. If we can carry that sort of form into the league season, you will now start to understand why I won't be able to show highlights of every single game. If we're winning every game by these sort of scorelines, it would take forever to show you that sort of stuff, and that's kind of what I'm trying to prevent here. So, in the next episode, you're going to join us for our first Champions League match, of course. There's 5 league games in between there, of course. The next episode will be much shorter, so don't worry about that. We will have the draw, of course, for the Champions League group at the start of the episode, so you won't know who we're going to be playing until we get right into things. I hope you're happy with the signings and the way things are shaping up this year. I really do. And I hope the new episode format isn't going to be too much of a hassle. I think it will make things smoother and run better overall, so that's what we're going to try and do. So, guys, if you like what you've seen, please drop a like on the video, and if you'd like to even more than that, please subscribe to my channel for more Portsmouth and Red Star Belgrade in your inbox every single day at 5:30 and 8 o'clock. And I will see you guys in the next episode for our first game in the Champions League. Bye-bye.